Yeah, okay, so what happened in option 2? Because I was just like typing maniac, and I wrote down the option 2 very, very quickly. And it ended up with this print employees. Let me just show you a shortcut here. If you press F12 while you mouse over a method, you'll get thrown to that method. So here it is. This was what I did with the print employees. Okay, let's try and do this. You already learned the while loop. So if I want to print out every employee using a while loop, it would be something like this. While, and then outside of this guy, I'll do an int I equals 0. There we go. I'll say while I is less than employees list dot size, or length. Count, sorry. Oh my God. I was just lost there in the different world of JavaScript. There we go. So as long as this guy is less than the count, keep printing. And then we'll say employees list at position I. So this is how I could do it. And then of course I need to increment I every time I've printed a guy. There we go. So now I'll print out the first guy, the second guy, the third guy, and it'll loop like this. So this is one way you could actually write a loop that ran over every employee using the while loop. A second solution would be the for loop. Let's do a for loop. Now in the for loop we're kind of doing the same variables here. I'll just change this to j instead, like this. There we go. You're kind of doing the same thing as here, but now you can do it in a single line, and that's kind of nice. That's what we want. Except for that, it's exactly the same thing. So I'll just copy this line right here. So in the for loop, you can actually go in and say, I wanna do the same thing as before, but this time I just wanna write it a bit simpler because I only want to use one line. So notice the difference here is that I actually spent only one line where I spent 1, 2, 3 lines before. And that's all I have to do. Now these two are actually exactly the same, printing out every employee in the list. But the for each loop, which is the one I used very, very quickly, is actually the coolest one. Because the for each loop, you can just tell the system, I have a list of people here, and for each one of them, grab the employee, like we're doing right here, and then put him into this guy. So now the item is one of the employee, meaning that in my case where I had 2 employees, I had 1 and 2 here, the 2 employees. What will happen is the first time it runs through the loop, this item will be set to 1, right? So then I'm printing out 1. The second time, this item will be set to 2. So now I'm printing out 2. So that's actually how you use a for each loop to do exactly the same like you did with the other 2. I hope this makes sense. Let's just add something here because I just noticed last time that I wasn't quite satisfied with it not having a few new liners here just to show that next employee was shown. But these 3 guys are doing exactly the same actually. Either you'll use the while loop, you'll use the for loop, or in case you have a list like I do, the for each loop is just the easiest one. Just look at how simple it is. There's no j with the initialization and you have to be lower than you have to add it automatically. Behind the scenes, the for each loop take care of that for you when it's a list. So this is the very, very simple way to do it. This is old school, it works, it's fine. This is a newer school, it works, but this is newer school. This is what we want to do when we have a list we want to traverse, we want to go over. So that was just very briefly about how that worked. See you in the next lesson where we'll start to make even more changes to this code.